Hello, and welcome back to 250 Years of Freedom. This is Episode 8, 1782 and 1783, Peace and the Promise. After 8 weary years of war, the guns finally fell silent. On September the 3rd, 1783, in the city of Paris, diplomats from the United States and Great Britain signed the Treaty of Paris, ending the American Revolution. Across the Atlantic, farmers laid down their muskets, merchants opened their shops, and soldiers knelt in thanksgiving. The dream of liberty, once whispered of in secret taverns and whose name was shouted on battlefields, had earned its place in America. The path to peace had not been simple. Even after Yorktown, British forces still held New York and Charleston and Savannah. The war's outcome had depended on negotiations that stretched across the Atlantic. American commissioners Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and John Jay sat at the table with Britain's representatives, determined to secure full independence and the vast territory west of the Mississippi. As a nod to God's protection and perhaps a warning to Britain, Franklin wrote that he trusted that the same good providence which had hitherto protected us will still continue to be our guardian. When at last the treaty was signed, it recognized the United States as free, sovereign, and independent. No empire in history had so freely acknowledged the birth of a new republic. 1782 saw the adoption of the Great Seal, designed by Charles Thomson. Written on the seal is the Latin phrase E pluribus unum, out of many, one, a nod to the wideness of human experience but need for unity under God. Charles Thomson, Secretary of the Continental Congress and signer of the Declaration of Independence, said of his faith, "I am a Christian. I believe only in the Scriptures and in Jesus Christ, my Savior." In August 1782, George Washington established the Badge of Military Merit, a Purple Heart-shaped medal to recognize enlisted soldiers for unusual gallantry and extraordinary fidelity. In 1932, on the bicentennial of Washington's birthday, it was renamed the Purple Heart. Only 3 soldiers received this award during the Revolutionary War. Back home, General George Washington disbanded his army. At Francois Tavern in New York City, he gathered his officers for the final farewell. Tears streamed down hardened faces as he said, "With a heart full of love and gratitude, I now take leave of you." Congressman James McHenry of Maryland wrote that the most emotional part of Washington's resignation speech occurred when he spoke of the officers who had composed his family. McHenry observed that Washington's hands shook, and he was obliged to support the paper with both hands. The men who had crossed icy rivers and endured hunger and overwhelming odds now embraced their commander and wept. Then Washington did something rare in human history. He gave up power. In December 1783, he rode to Annapolis, where Congress sat, and surrendered his commission. "Having now finished the work assigned to me, I retire from the great theater of action." He returned quietly to Mount Vernon. King George III, upon hearing of Washington's resignation, reportedly said, "If he does that, he will be the greatest man in the world." Washington's extensive time in prayer and reading the Bible garnered him understanding of God's leading. Ingrained within his bones was not only a lion, but a servant's heart. His reward, more than anything bound on earth, would be earned from following his shepherd's leading. "The Lord hath anointed thee. Now therefore hearken unto the voice of the words of the Lord." 1 Samuel 15:1. True authority is always accountable to something higher. The newfound peace of 1783 must have felt like the promised land to the Israelites as they crossed the Jordan River. After wandering, struggling, and fighting, they were told, "Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you power to attain wealth." Deuteronomy 8:18. America, too, stood at the threshold of promise. A land vast and free, blessed yet fragile. It would be within this new structure ancient ideas about human value would be shaped into a more perfect reflection of God's character, seeing every man and woman of every color treated equal under God. The close of the Revolution was more than a political event, it was a moral awakening. Pulpits across 13 colonies thundered with thanksgiving and a call to stewardship of what was earned. Faith wasn't only required on the battlefield, but within the hearts of every free man to shape a just peace. In one such sermon, the Reverend Samuel Cooper of Boston proclaimed, "Our deliverance should be ascribed to him who commandeth the winds and the seas." Across the land, voices of gratitude echoed Psalm 118. This is the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. For the new nation, peace was both gift and test. Could the unity born in battle survive prosperity? Could a people governed by conviction remain faithful when comfort returned? Washington himself warned, "The foundations of our national policy will be laid in the pure and immutable principles of private morality." He understood that personal obedience from every man and woman would ensure healthy roots to nourish a flourishing country, just as inward corruption would destroy it. The revolution had been won by muskets and courage. The republic would be preserved by virtue and faith. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in 1784.